first installment of the book versus the movie. So in this case, I'm talking about The Last of the Mohicans, which is not this. This is The Deer Slayer, but it's by the same author, James Fenimore Cooper, compared to the 1992 film by Michael Mann, directed by Michael Mann, starring Daniel Day-Lewis and Madeleine Stowe, for example. I have the controversial or not take that the movie is better than the book. I saw the movie first. It intrigued me enough to want to read the book. And the book was good enough that I then read all of the other books in the series. So the Leatherstocking Tales, essentially, about Natty Bumppo. If you don't know about James Fenimore Cooper, so he was writing in the 1800s, published in the 1800s, so 19th century. And the Leatherstocking Tales were set a century earlier. So set in the 1700s, more or less during the French and Indian War period, most of the stories. So part of the 7 Years' War from the European perspective. And it's kind of back during the time when the American frontier was the Ohio River Valley, as opposed to west of the Mississippi. So it's an interesting way to think about frontier and what does frontier mean, and to, especially given that he was writing in the 19th century, so when the big push behind, going coast to coast and Manifest Destiny and all of that stuff was present. Anyhow, so I do recommend the books, but I gotta say, I definitely prefer the movie. It's a movie that I can watch over and over again. I think the acting is really well done, the editing is well done, cinematography, etc., etc. So it is a little bit easier, I think, to jump into and just enjoy than the book. Having said that, the book is very interesting and there's a lot of food for thought there, and it is not a complicated read. It's not, Dickens. Dickens I find complicated, for example. Anyhow, so going back to The Deer Slayer, which is this book. This book was written and published after Last of the Mohicans, but it is actually a prequel. And so it's interesting. We get some backstory about the character and his love life a little bit, in fact. So, anyhow, I don't know what happened to my copy of Last of the Mohicans. I think this is another book that I loaned out to someone and it has disappeared. But let me know what you think. If you've read the book, where do you land on that compared to the 1992 film? There is an earlier film, I want to say 1936 or something like that, but I have not seen it. So, but I welcome your thoughts.